Good morning. There we go. It says I'm live. Lights, camera, action. Good morning, everyone. Hello and welcome to another episode of Coffee and Chat. And just wanted to say thank you very much to those of you who've sent lovely comments and sent me emails, etc. after some of the lives. I know you don't always comment on Facebook, but I would like to thank you for your messages and your emails. It means a lot to me that you are getting something from these little talks, even if it's just a little snippet or one little insight or one takeaway. That's what they're there for, just to perhaps sometimes just give us a reminder of things we already know. And hopefully it's helpful for anybody who's listening. So this morning, before we get started with our topic, my oil of choice for this week is frankincense. You can see it. Frankincense backwards. Frankincense is a beautiful, beautiful oil. It's probably one of the most ancient oils that has been used over the centuries. I always think of, hi Cecile, good morning, thank you for joining me. I always think of frankincense at Christmas time because here in Austria, they burn the resin they burn it in the churches year round, but specifically at Christmas time, it's burnt in a lot of homes, and it's synonymous of the time of the Christian birth of Christ. When the three kings came, they brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh, and so frankincense was one of these ancient oils that is still very prized today for so many reasons. It's a beautiful, a very different scent from most plant oils because it comes from the resin of a tree, and it's very it's quite a powerful smell. Some say it's quite clinical. I don't get a clinical smell at all. I get a very rich, spicy kind of taste, a kind of smell to it. Let me just see what else. Yeah, it's very warming, extremely warming, and that's why I would imagine that it's one of the winter oils of choice. But for most people who work with aromatherapy or work with essential oils, there's a saying that goes, when in doubt, get the Frankie out. And that's because it's such a versatile oil. It's got just about every, you can use it for so many different things. It's for support cellular health, immune system, the nervous system, the digestive system. It's calming, it's grounding, it's healing, incredibly healing. So all of those things, it's like one of these oils that is just a brilliant, brilliant all-rounder. It's also one that enhances other oils. So if you're using another oil and you want to sort of enhance its properties, it's adding a drop of frankincense in a blend with other oils enhances all their properties and really brings them together to work synergistically. So a very, very beautiful oil. As I say, really for peace and relaxation for me is my favorite. It really helps me when I'm at night, if I'm not feeling well, getting into bed. Perhaps I might have a bit of sinus, perhaps I might have a little bit of worry thoughts in my head, whatever that is. If I put some frankincense on the bottom of my feet before getting into bed, I find I very easily fall asleep, and it's very calming and grounding for me. Another time I love to use it is for meditation, for spiritual practices. It is a deeply spiritual oil as well. And for any time that you really want to converse with yourself, with your inner spirit, with your guides, with God, with whatever your faith is, I think frankincense is a beautifully spiritual oil. And I'm going to dedicate this beautiful oil to my friend Anya and her dearly departed Zoe, who left this planet yesterday. Very special people in our lives. This one's for you. So getting on today with our our topic, which is attention-seeking behavior, and we're going to be looking beyond what is that behavior all about? What's lying underneath it? What is it? What is it all about? So many people, and I get this really often, is, people might say to me, my dog doesn't stop following me around. I can't even go to the toilet. My dog is always there. They're my shadow. And some people love that. Some people love that their little dog goes everywhere with them, shadows them. And other people feel really uncomfortable with that. Other people think, feel that it's definitely an intention seeking behavior. And we often label attention seeking as somehow negative, as somehow that the dog may be manipulating us in order to get our attention, or they may be demanding and being selfish. I heard somebody say the other day, when the dog was seeking their attention, and they turned around and said to the dog, "It's not all about you." And obviously the dog didn't understand the words in the meantime, but the intention behind that, I think, was really hurtful, because um, it's not necessarily all about us or the dog or whatever. We realize that, but on most levels, dogs behave in a way because there's an emotion behind that. There's an underlying need that hasn't been fulfilled, or something is going on for that dog, and we need to acknowledge that. And the more we try and reject that, the worse it actually gets. So let's have a look at something, some attention-seeking behaviors. So your dog may, as I say, follow you around continuously. They may, the moment you sit down, they may bring you a toy, or they may bring you something that they want to play with, or they may just jump on your lap and start licking you and start engaging you in some kind of activity, or it seems they want to engage you in some kind of activity. Or they just can't settle, and they just come and they look at you and they sort of whine, or they bark at you, or these are all sort of common attention seeking kind of behaviors that we see in our dogs, labeled attention seeking. And this is what I want to explore a little bit today is, what is attention seeking? Why are they seeking that attention in the first place? There must be a reason behind it, like everything we do and everything our dogs do. So let's have a look at some of the possibilities. There's endless possibilities, but I've just jotted down a few here, and I'm just going to go through some of the possibilities that may be under there. The first one is, are they feeling rejected? Because if you do have a dog that is very needy of your attention all the time, and you are continuously feeling irritated by that, or continuously saying, just ignoring them, just pretending they're not there, or just feeling really irritated because they're in your space and you don't want them there, they can feel that. They are interpreting that emotion coming from you, and they're feeling rejected. And who wants to feel rejected? Who wants to feel that they don't matter? Who wants to feel that nobody cares or loves them? And we do love our dogs, we do care about them, but they can also pick up when we're feeling irritated with them, and kind of rejecting them and pushing them away. So the more we do that, the more rejected they're going to feel. So really just acknowledging them and finding out what's going on is more important. Another one is are they feeling anxious or frightened? Some dogs are really just really shy and lack confidence, and they feel secure when their person is around. That's their pillar of safety. They're somebody that they can anchor to, because they don't have a sense of self-worth. They don't have a sense of self regulation. They can't self-regulate, so perhaps they need you to help them to do that. Perhaps they just lacking confidence because they haven't had the skills to build their self-confidence in life and different situations. So sometimes we need to acknowledge that our dogs need a little bit more help when it comes to building their confidence. What else can we do to help them build their confidence in life, so that they are able to perhaps self-entertain themselves, or do something where they can build their confidence? Lots of enrichment games. I love the ACE free work, for instance. I use that in all my groups and courses. where dogs can start to turn on their seeking system and get engaged and start getting curious about the world around them, as opposed to feeling that they need to be in their safe zone all the time, and perhaps that you are their safe zone. So that's another reason, possibility. Are they confused? Sometimes we give them miscommunication. Sometimes with our actions, our deeds, our words, we are giving them communication which is confusing for them. On one hand, we seem to be happy and love them and do whatever. On the next hand, we are, don't do that, go away, I don't want you following me, etc., which is sending mixed messages the whole time. And the dogs don't understand that. So they need more clarity. So how can you give your dog more clarity about a situation? Like, right now, I'm busy doing my work, and I would really like you to come and lie next to me, and that would be great. So just communicating that and explaining to them and showing them with your hands, with your body language, what you would like to do, what you would like them to do, is really going to help them to understand and to get clarity and not feel that confusion and that miscommunication. So how can you give your dog more clarity? Another one is when we've often find dogs following us when they see we're ready to leave the house. So, or, they start to follow us and think, oh, where's she going now? And we know exactly in our heads, we may be going to the shops, we may be going on an appointment, we may be going to work, we may be going out with friends, we may be taking our dogs for a walk. But until they see those cues, or, which shoes is she putting on, which jacket is she putting on, is she bringing out the harness, or, are we going for a walk, etc. So it's, again, a lot of miscommunication. Well, they're looking for information. So they're following you, looking for clues as to find out what's going to happen next, which comes back to the clarity. It comes back to telling your dog, perhaps, this is where we're going, or this is where I'm going, you're going to have to stay behind, or this is where we're going together, are you ready to come with me? Gives them a lot more, it allows them to be a lot more settled and a lot more calm about what's to come, because it's really important for dogs to have some kind of control over what's going to happen in the future, because we dictate so much of their day and so much of their lives, that helping them to know what's coming next is really, really helpful, especially for sensitive, anxious dogs. So again, that clarity around the confusion. Another one is, are they not feeling well? We know that, and especially little kids, if you're a parent, you'll know that little kids really need their mum, or really need their dad, or some kind of parental figure when they are not feeling well. And as adults too, we know that, when we're really not feeling well, it's lovely to have somebody that that is there, that can comfort you, that can, tell you everything's going to be all right, that can gently put their hand on you, and massage if you've got some pain, etc. So if your dog is not feeling well, and sometimes it's not obvious, sometimes pain is not obvious because it's internal, and they can't show you, wow, my neck really hurts, or my belly really hurts because of something I ate earlier. Dogs don't know how to express that the way we humans do, and very often we miss the tiny little clues that they're not feeling well in some way. Even dogs that have allergies and they tend to scratch a lot, and they're unsettled and they're licking and they're scratching, you can imagine the discomfort and the level of stress that comes with that, being itchy all day and being uncomfortable. So they too might be seeking attention, and it's really, it's I think it's for us to comfort them and just say, I get you, I hear you, and are you doing something in order to help them, with that specific allergy or ailment or pain, to help them with their discomfort. So very often it's coming because they're not feeling well. Another one is, are they picking up on our emotions? So how are we feeling? Very often we're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, anxious ourselves. And then I find my dogs tend to follow me more. And I realize that they're picking up on my emotions, and they can sense that I'm not at ease. And again, it's this sort of a disconnect between who I normally am and who I am in this moment, it doesn't feel comfortable for my dogs. They know something's wrong, but they don't know what particularly. So they may come to me, they may seek my attention just to bring attention to something's different about you. Are you okay? Some dogs want to give you their affection and their love when you are feeling unwell or when you are feeling distressed or upset. Some dogs really seek, that closeness and will be there for you to give you that stability. Other dogs feel uncomfortable with it because they can sense, as I say, something's different about you, but not necessarily comfortable for them. So they don't quite know how to respond to that in a way that we perhaps would respond to another human in that situation. So just, them being uncomfortable, them being unsettled, perhaps whining and being unsettled themselves is really just reflecting our emotions. And sometimes we need to just stop and say, wow, I'm feeling really stressed right now. Perhaps it's a good idea that I actually get up and do something with my dog, go for a walk with them, spend some time with them, de-stress myself, perhaps. They often give us good clues when we're feeling emotionally challenged that we need to take a break. So that's one of us, picking up emotions. Are they bored? So very often dogs you may think, well, I've just been for a walk. I've just taken my dog for a walk and now he's still wanting to play and he's wanting to get my attention. And, I've just met his needs. But again, is it the right kind of exercise that your dog is getting? Just going for a leash walk around the block is possibly not at all enough stimulation, mental and emotional stimulation for your dog. They didn't get time enough to stop and really sniff or watch the world go by, or perhaps you went for a jog around the block when they would much rather spend time sniffing in the park. So it's not about just exercise, it's about the right type of exercise that your dog needs to feel fulfilled and happy. So, or it could be very high arousal exercise. You may have gone to the park and thrown a ball for your dog, or done some running and playing, and they come back and they can't settle because their energy level is really high. Their adrenaline is high. They've got cortisol flowing through their system. And so it's really difficult for them to settle in the moment. So they may need time to slowly de-stress and come down back to baseline again before they can settle. So in that case, perhaps something to chew, or something to help them, maybe some hands-on touch to help them to self-regulate and come back down again. Whatever your dog needs, you need to find out what helps them to relax a little bit before they can come back to baseline. And then, of course, the last one, which is most people would put this right up at the top as the most obvious, is separation distress and attachment, what we may call attachment disorders, where the dog has not learned, possibly from really early trauma when they were born, or early puppyhood, not enough social connection, not enough touch, not enough grooming from the dam or the human parent. Perhaps they were just put in a crate to sleep, when they joined their family, no human contact at night when the puppy really needed it the most, can actually cause developmental problems as far as attachment style goes. And so that puppy feels that, their needs weren't met, their physical, emotional needs were not met. And so they are constantly seeking that. So that's a desperate seeking, attention seeking, for social connection, for affection, for love and connection. It certainly could be that. And some dogs do suffer from separation disorders, where they feel either really anxious about their person leaving, or they feel anxious about being alone, or they are generally anxious dogs and they're scared of being alone because of the noises and things that happen in the house when they are alone. They could be really frustrated because they're not getting to go where their person wants to go, and they're kind of inside all day and can't get out to go and explore. So again, just separation distress can be a number of reasons. It's not just because they are scared of being alone. could be a lot of emotions that go with that, or other, the main cause underneath that. So as you can see, these are just some. I mean, they're not even all of it. It's just some of the things that I've picked out that could be what's going on underneath that attention-seeking behavior. So I would encourage you not to see it as something negative. I would encourage you to see it as a clue as to how can we look deeper and see something different that's going on. What you shouldn't be doing in these situations is ignoring your dog, is shutting the door in their face so that they don't follow you, which is advice given by a lot of trainers, sadly, is, just tell the dog they're not to follow you, stop them from following you, close the door, ignore them completely, don't talk to them. I honestly believe that makes it worse, because whatever that is, that underlying need is now even more not being met. So either the dog will shut down completely, which is a really sad space to be in that sort of depressed, alone state, or they're going to, try harder and harder to get your attention, and maybe not in that situation, but in other situations. So what to do instead is to really be mindful about this, be present. Can you give in their moment? Can you give your dog 5 minutes of undivided attention, love, and connection straight from your heart to their heart, to help them feel heard and understood? Can you put your detective hat on and see, has anything changed in the environment lately? How am I feeling? How is my dog feeling? Have they been off their food for a while? Have they been, have I not had time to take them to spend more relaxed time outdoors with them? Am I meeting their needs by giving them things that are stimulating for their innate needs, to make them feel fulfilled? So it's mental, emotional, exercise, not just physical exercise. Is, go through the list. Are any of these things possible? And is there any way that you can support your dog to feel better, so that they don't need to have to seek your attention all the time? So I hope that gives you a couple of things to think about. Cecile, I know I haven't stopped to ask questions, but if you have any questions or comments, or you can relate to any of this, I would love to hear from you. And yeah, just use it as information, people. It's often given such a negative connotation, attention-seeking behavior, but I think we really need to review it, relook at it, and say, what's really going on underneath there. Use it as information for us and help us to become curious about our own needs, our dog's needs, what's going on in the environment, and how we can best support each other in this journey. So thank you again for tuning in. Thank you, Cecile, for listening. Thank you for everybody for, as I say, your ongoing comments, your emails and messages that I get. I really appreciate them. Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you next week. I can't remember what our topic was for next week, but I'll post it in the group. I have already planned one. I just can't remember what it was. So I will post in the group and let you know what's on next week. So thank you again, everybody. Have a lovely Tuesday. And don't forget to get the Frankie out if you need something. Bye-bye for now.